Hi, welcome. My name's Dale McCluskey, and on this video, it's part of a series called Flipping the Script. I'm going to be responding to, again, bribery-based dog training by way of a video put out by Adam Spivey at a South End dog training called Lead Walking 101. And I'm going to be kind of focusing in on some moments here by way of problems, by way of certain themes being attached. And again, I talk about themes being attached by way of this very popular idea that training is a learning-based exercise, by way of motivating dogs to respond at the very beginning of a relationship problem without understanding both the role of the owner as well as the role of influence in terms of a intentional interaction-based process, how influence changes the process by way of being proactive, okay, by way of intercepting a dog's state of mind as control is manifesting. So here in this video, you're going to see some problems here. I'm going to talk about those by way of how trainers are attempting to motivate dogs to respond, especially once dogs have gained a higher level of control in the relationship, and why that sets up major problems when it comes to relationship change happening. And so here in the video, you'll see there's a lady here going to be bringing a dog out. You see this dog is very much, expressing control by way of lunging and pulling on the leash.
Thanks for the greens yesterday. You had a big bath and right, come on.
So step one, she's got too much pent-up energy.
Yeah.
So here right away, okay, I'm going to talk about this whole thing about, pent up energy. So here you have Spivey talking about, well, right away the dog's got too much pent up energy. But here's the way you want to define energy. Okay, I talk about, in terms of, yes, of course, dogs need exercise. Okay, however, okay, and just like, again, I talk about this whole issue about, line this up with the parenting example. Absolutely, like a parent could engage in, in terms of exercise, in terms of a selfish child, and you go wear their butt out, okay, by way of certain activities. And however, once the selfish child, has some rest and gets something to eat, they're just as selfish as they were a few hours earlier when you engaged in, rigorous exercise activity. And this is why, again, when I talk about the dog training world, oftentimes, and again, this is very, common, is that people will look at, in terms of dealing with a relationship problem, how that's manifesting and being expressed as well. If I find a job for my dog to do or, exercise my dog, it's going to be helpful. And understand that it actually will appear to be helpful because, again, as a dog becomes, as more energy is released as through, again, exercise, and you wear the dog down to a certain point, they're going to be more agreeable. Okay, because they're worn down. Okay, you've exercised the dog, and so in those moments it'll appear better, and it'll offer this kind of hope that things are working. The dog's more agreeable. But what I tell people is don't be deceived, okay? Because exercise is not the solution. Okay, relationship change comes through, again, I talk about an intentional interaction-based method that speaks the right language in terms of your role, how change happens through, being defined by way of how you're interacting in specific ways. Okay, so how influence is part of the equation to intercept the dog's state of mind. Because again, once you have a relationship problem happening, there's this level of stinking thinking that starts to happen. Okay, so again, it's really important to understand making sure things align properly through speaking the right language. It's kind of similar to having, again, a parent who's in the child's airspace in a specific way, having a personal conversation, meaningful interactions. Understand exercise is not it. Okay, that is not going to create change. And again, like I said, of course, dogs need exercise. But again, when I'm helping dog owners, and again, when I'm doing, again, the initial session, I'm very specific as to really kind of curtailing back the walk itself that way. People get into certain routines and they're used to walking the dog for 1 mile or 2 miles. But understand that, that can be a problem. You need to start to develop the right framework. You need to do, again, you'll see my methodology, I call the one-step method, which is speaking the right language. Okay, it's really lining things up. Okay, starting to build on getting a dog to walk beside you the right way. But interesting here, because here Spivey, again, I call him a bribery-based dog trainer, okay? Again, certain themes here he's attaching as solutions. And one of those is the whole, exercise part. So here, one can assume that he did something here to try to wear this dog down a little bit because it's edited, okay? There's an edit point. And almost funny in a way because, again, the other video I've done by way of another balanced dog trainer, Larry Crone, titled, Don't Force the Down. Okay, very interesting when you really kind of think about, how, kind of like signing a relationship contract, how things are kind of set in motion, where Crone comes out and, the dog is, not agreeable to the down. Well, he goes off camera view and, it's edited because he walks in and he's wearing a different shirt. Okay, so, what he did from that point in time, obviously, establishing a certain, it's like signing a contract, a certain agreement. But again, it's understanding what's that agreement based on. Okay, when I talk about, it's not just about getting a response to happen. Okay, it's about defining change the right way, influence being part of the equation. So here you see an edit about getting he's saying too much pent-up energy. Well, understand that, some dogs, again, understand that just like in terms of, again, taking this over to parent examples, like some children need a stronger parent, okay? In terms of dogs as social animals, some dogs have a higher level of social need. You talk about, you talk about the drive of a dog. But still, in terms of defining change itself, comes through the right process. It's not just about trying to get energy out that way. Because if you're doing that, understand that you're going to lead yourself into being deceived or fooled into believing, especially during certain moments when you've exercised the dog, appearing as though things are better. But you're never going to get truly, change happening the right way. You're going to be spinning your wheels.
The next stage, I want to teach her what this means.
So right away, okay, he uses that word teach. Okay, understand that whenever you deal with a trainer and they bring up certain words that way, such as teach or learn, expect the treats to come out. Okay, and I talk about the problem with that when you define change through using a motivator, then you're setting up people to be deceived. You're setting a counterfeit picture in motion. Because understanding, right, again, in terms of, defining what is, how does change happen? How is it defined? It comes through approaching a relationship problem for what it is. It's an intervention. And by way of an intervention, okay, influence needs to be part of the equation. It needs to be a type of power play. But again, it's not that type of power play where you're trying to just engage in conflict. Okay, challenge is going to rise to the surface at a certain level, but it's about the right language coming through the right method in terms of a intentional interaction-based approach. Now here, different in the way in which, again, many trainers will define change. They immediately will set, responses in motion by way of using a motivating agent and then assume that those responses can be trusted. I understand that's a wrong way to be, approaching a relationship problem.
So we have to teach the dog, when this tightens, how to turn that off. I'm going to do very gentle pressure on this.
So he's talking about here. Now the other thing to pay attention to, I talk about this whole thing about, here he's talking about gentle pressure. Okay, again, that goes in this whole thing about even by way of what's called the 4 quadrants. Influence is part of the equation to a certain level, but the problem is in terms of, the right level, okay, aligning properly, coming into the process the right way in a way that's truly going to generate change. See, that's the problem here. And you'll see trainers that are very cautious. You know, I talk about loose leash. They'll apply a little bit of pressure. But the big overreaching or overarching theme here is bribery. Okay, it's usually motivating agents that way. So you understand that trainers don't understand a lot of times where that line is. And the bent is towards this whole issue about just gaining agreeableness, but the process itself isn't defined properly. Okay, it's not taking the form of a type of power play. So it leads people into wrong assumptions. So this is why you can have fantastic moments within the parameters or framework of this, you know, idea, how it's applied. But then again, when you look at the contrast, you'll see, okay, I'm still dealing with a relationship problem. Things haven't really changed at all.
Lead. Yes. And as soon as
So right here saying, you know, yes, right? So understand, whenever I say that when you reward a dog in certain moments or you're petting on a dog, you're assuming something. I talk about this whole issue about a dog's state of mind. Do you honestly believe, even looking here, look how control is manifest at a certain level. Do you honestly believe that those moments are great moments? Okay, especially with how they're being set up. Absolutely not. Okay, this is where, again, the whole dog training world, I understand the whole entire dog training world is built on this idea of things. It's inherently flawed at its core.
gives into that and mark it with yes and reward it. Step 3.
Now this is almost funny here. Okay, you have this dog here that, again, this dog is gaining a lot of control in the relationship, obviously. This dog starts, control's manifesting around. This dog starts to dig into the ground. Okay, this dog is digging into the ground here, and this trainer is just kind of oblivious. Probably just looks at this as just, you know, incidental dog behavior. Okay, because he's totally caught up in this whole idea about, you know, motivating dogs this way to respond.
It's starting to shape.
Look at this dog, and he's not intercepting any of this. Okay, he's not intercepting. Okay, control's manifesting right here. Okay, right in front of him, like digging a hole so he can probably step half his body into, and he's just like oblivious.
Where the dog should be.
The dog's still digging, still digging.
So this perfect opportunity to distract.
Still going.
Active pressure on. Yes. Arm comes round. That's where I want.
Just total bribery, but totally oblivious. Look at the hole here in the ground.
You to be. Next step, short but relaxed lead. We're going to practice some figures of eights. So I'm going to walk, and I'm going to use my right leg, and it's going to come in front of the dog like.
Now this is very interesting. I want to point this out, okay? I mean, so careful not to bring this dog under any sort of level of intentional control or influence. So I do, you know, it's called circle method, okay? Similar, but different, okay? Here, you know, what should be happening here is he's turning into this dog. I talk about the role of influence and control, okay? Being proactive, you know, in terms of intercept dog state of mind. So what should be happening here is, you know, you're turning into the left. The left leg should be making a little bit of connection, you know, some contact. And it's not meant, again, to run the dog over. It's about making sense for the dog in terms of control. And if you're doing this the right way, and again, you watch my videos with how I'm doing it, it builds on the walk, okay? Because the dog that's gaining control in the relationship oftentimes is trying to surge out in front of the dog owner. So by, again, developing through what's called the circle method, okay, you start to bring the dog into alignment. But again, with influence being part of the equation. And again, as the stress is coming off the dog, okay, when doing it the way I show, the dog will actually turn their head into for the contact. And it seems like a contradiction, but what it's doing is taking so much stress off the dog. It's giving them comfort. Okay, it's making them feel good. Here, you have a bribery-based trainer, and pay attention to what he's doing. He's not bringing this leg in to make any sort of contact. He's shooting the other leg out, okay, to avoid contact. Because understand, this is just about trying to. It's almost like a standoff, right? He's so, again, the themes of bribery are so pervasive here that he's not even wanting to or willing to bring this dog under that level of control.
Dog like that, we're going to create some spatial awareness. The next step get some auto stops. Now the way I'm going to do that is every time I stop, I'm going to apply gentle pressure up. So we're going to take a few steps, we're going to stop. Good. We're going to reward the dog.
You got treats going. Okay. So all to say that what you see here with trainers, again, understand that, you know, when you start to really understand what's happening here, it's all about, you know, a certain idea of things. It's almost, it becomes a type of belief system. And it really kind of hems you in. Understand that when you're looking to advocate for change, you know, you have to kind of play by the playbook, so to speak. And just like, again, you look at the permissive parenting style, it's no different. These type of, you know, interactions, interplays, and the themes that are pervasive throughout the theme of bribery. So my encouragement, again, when you're considering what a process represents is, again, understand, again, line this all up with the parenting example. Once a relationship problem is underway, it's a intervention. And the solution is found, and real hope, okay, is found by way of a intentional interaction-based method. Thanks for watching.